Oh. Hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 175, and we're talking the Michigan Watchmen and the FBI foiling the FBI plot. And the people getting off. Yeah, the only feds. And Magnus has joined us because how can we talk about Michigan without Magnus in the house?
And Andrew is fashionably late as usual.
We were all fashionably late.
Well,
but now we're like after party late, so we're good. We're cool again.
Hey, I was spending Easter with my kid. All right, so
that's fair.
How dare you?
Yeah,
you're here to talk about
I don't want to hear your excuses, incel.
I see Andrew's the commie tonight.
Hell yeah. Hey, in my defense, I have a 556 shirt hanging up right over there right now. So
he's a man of all culture.
I'm wearing the show shirt tonight. So
nice.
That's the worst shirt.
It's great.
That's the worst shirt. It really is.
But
the best for the most professional podcast on the internet.
That started 40 minutes late.
35-minute late.
None of
it just emphasizes our professionalism. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. SpongeBob font professionalism. Yeah, we're a strategist. There you go. That one probably went over some of you guys' heads.
Strategery.
Yep. Rocket surgery.
Ralph Wiggum with his finger in his nose.
Hey, Jay, if you're not seeing or hearing anything, maybe you should turn your computer on.
That should be Anarchy Among Friends shirt. Just Ralph Wiggum with his finger up the nose. I'm podcasting.
I'll have it by next week.
Yeah, make it happen, Captain. So, but before we get into the Michigan stuff, I want to point out that Tuesday the 19th is the anniversary of the Waco massacre. So if you're watching this or listening to it before then, be sure to tweet to the ATF how they're pieces of garbage for that. And I will bet money that they will post their memorial again, like they do every single year.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
And I will once again threaten to become their stepdad.
Yeah.
Remember, bully the ATF every chance you can get.
Yep. Journalists and government agents.
Yep.
And you can look up Steve Ballinjarg or something like that, their new nominee. Yeah, he has a Twitter account. I've been having a lot of fun on there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's not.
How long was fucking Squirrel Face? What was his name? The last
Chipman.
How long was Chipman on Twitter before he privated his account and deleted it?
It was probably like day 3 or 4 after being nominated.
Let's do it again, boys. Round 2.
Bully your local tyrants.
Yeah. Bully all the tyrants.
Yes.
Journalists are complacent. Don't forget them.
Which we'll definitely get to experience a little bit of that with some of the stuff you sent me today.
Oh, that op-ed is hilarious.
It's so bad, but again, this is such a weird thing to say considering everything going on. But shout out BuzzFeed News. This whole time for the last year, every single article they've written about the Whitmer case, fucking spot on. Perfect. They talk about things no one else will talk about. They bring up details that everyone else is uncomfortable in mentioning.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Jim Bovard brought up when he was on with Scott Horton the other night. Is just how on point BuzzFeed has been.
Again, how do you know that we're in the clown dimension? The leading like journalistic reporter on an FBI entrapment scheme is BuzzFeed News.
it's like what cat are you? What loaf of bread are you? Governor Whitmer kidnapping. What?
The FBI entrapment plot. Wait, whoa. Let's scroll. What?
FBI foils FBI terror plot. Wait a second.
How many FBI informants can get arrested and sent to prison? Oh boy.
Insert
I mean, what was it like? What was it? 14 of the 24 people involved?
Oh, more came out because of the trial. That's what, like, there's details that haven't even been talked about because
and then a couple of the FBI agents, like the prosecutors, didn't want them to testify.
Yeah,
the one guy got arrested for beating up his wife after an orgy.
Yep, one of the FBI informants.
And then the other one was using classified information to sell his security consultant.
Yep.
Gig.
And then another one was arrested for using his status as an FBI informant as a felon to buy firearms, because for some reason he thought that because he was working for the FBI, he's just no longer a felon, so he can own guns again, right? Yeah, nope. Sorry, buddy, you picked the wrong team.
Oh my!
There,
they used him and then threw his ass right back in jail,
which is about par for the course when it comes to.
Which, I mean,
FBI.
To be fair, there's so many details. It's quite possible that his FBI handler was like, "Yeah, we need to get you a gun so you can blend in with these militia dudes better." And then as soon as the case was over, he's like, "All right, you're a felon in possession of a firearm."
Yeah, throw him right straight under the fucking bus.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what they do. But yeah, there's so many like moving parts to this case that it's why people struggle with it so much, because it's not like January 6th where like it had all this coverage and it's very kind of cut and dry to where like each side can form their argument really cleanly. Like this is like 2 years of shifting story and bullshit. It wrapped up. And a detail I bring up a lot that I brought up to Scott Horton and it blew his mind even was that the lead FBI I guess officer, I don't know what their terminology is, for the Detroit field branch office, a week after these guys got arrested, were transferred to Washington, D.C. And he was in Washington, D.C. when January 6th happened. So again, like there's all these like gross details that are like,
Yeah.
In a completely unpredictable coincidence. He happened to be.
This is why they're called special agents.
Yeah.
They need 2 helmets, not just one.
Mm.
They pay to lick the windows, but alas.
No,
Yeah,
they charge us for them to lick the windows.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go like chronologically through everything or how you want to go about this, because like I said, there's so much shit.
My eye is already twitching.
Hey, I got to live this firsthand. I think a lot of people like it. Obviously, like it was brought up all the time across the country, but this was like a cultural phenomenon in Michigan. Like every single grocery store had like every newspaper talking about it. It was on the local news nonstop for months. I overheard people talking about it at like, you know, the gas station for months. Like it was this huge deal in Michigan. Yeah. And they still failed to prosecute those motherfuckers.
Not only failed to prosecute, 2 were found not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 was a hung jury.
Yep.
Right. So not even failed to prosecute. Like the jury's like, no, we're not buying that story.
Well, yeah, and that is despite Well, yeah, and that's despite the prosecution repeatedly doing everything they can, and the judge being super complicit in doing everything that the state can to suppress everything to do with the entrapment, and it's still so fucking blatant to everyone.
The judge literally, the judge literally removed like 2/3 of the defense's argument. Like, said you can't bring this up and that up and this up and that up. No, you don't get to question these people. No, you can't call these witnesses.
And they still couldn't do it.
I mean, the judge, considering all the other fucked up things that happened, I don't know if he was forced to do this, but it was almost getting to the point where the judge had to overturn the FBI's request for the main FBI agents to not testify.
Yeah, the prosecution tried to stop the main FBI agents from getting on the stand.
So the guys who did like the case building and who the case hinges on, we don't want them to testify
because they might testify that they
Because and honestly, it might have been different because when we get to like the actual trial, some of those dudes admitted to some dumb shit that probably didn't help the case at all. The one big one that I'll bring up, I guess I'll hint to it is there was a conversation that was had, that was recorded and shown to the jury that showed that this group was on the verge of breaking up in April. And we're all talking shit and didn't want to hang out with each other anymore. And the CI asked the FBI agent what he has to do to keep the group together. It was, sir, these guys aren't going to do the terror attack we're supposed to get them to do. What do I do?
Yeah, so let's discuss the outcome of the trial, and then we'll get into the Jim Bovard article, op-ed. So the Detroit News, jury finds 2 men not guilty in Whitmer kidnapping case, unable to reach verdicts on 2 others. So jurors acquitted, which means not guilty, like failed to prove guilt. 2 men Friday accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and deadlocked on charges against 2 alleged ringleaders, delivering a staggering blow to the government in one of the largest domestic terrorism cases in U.S. history. I mean, that's what they did with the Bundys too, right? I mean, they went after the Bundys like, what, 4 times? And they were in jail the whole time. And it was like, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Dismissed with prejudice. And then they went to Oregon, and again, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Dismissed with prejudice.
Yep.
No. So there's no dismissal here yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Oh, it had it. The more ekes out of this, the worse it looks.
Yeah. Chief U.S. District Robert Yonker, Jonker, Yonker. Yeah, I hope it's Yonker.
We'll go with it.
Because Jonker would just be a terrible last name.
Like Yonker is much better. I mean
Bob Jonker, really? Okay. So Robert Yonker declared a mistrial of kidnapping. Kidnapping conspiracy charges against accused ringleaders Adam Fox of Potterville and Barry Croft, 46 of Delaware. Accused plotters Daniel Harris of Lake Huron and Brandon Castillo of Canton Township were being freed Friday afternoon after nearly 2 years behind bars. Quote, best birthday gift ever. Caserta told reporters.
Yep.
The trial lasted 20 days, including 13 days of testimony and approximately 38 hours of jury deliberations spanning 5 days. Jurors, 6 men, 6 women, all white, heard hours of closing arguments and instructions last week after testimony and multimedia case from the government. The mixed verdict provided a biting end to a case dodged by controversy, scandal, and intense focus of a nation grappling with the rise of violent extremism among the 2020 presidential election and a global pandemic.
Violent extremism, guys.
We're DVEs just because we say fuck you guys.
Yeah. No, don't you know vegans are DVEs now? So that word doesn't mean fucking anything.
Preppers are DVEs.
Yeah, preppers are DVEs.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who doesn't just march rank and file with the narrative, who's not a complete NPC, is by default automatically assumed to be a domestic violent extremist.
You've had too much to think.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now, you're a DVE. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Well, not sorry. I mean, yeah. I hope we all end up in the same gulag.
Yeah, your patch and your FEMA assignment are in the mail. Defense lawyers spent months raising questions about the FBI agent conduct and claiming that a team of investigators and informants orchestrated the conspiracy and entrapped the four men, a ragtag band of social outcasts who harbored anti-government views and anger over restrictions imposed by Whitmer. Quote, I think the trial here demonstrated that there's some serious shortcomings in the case, Fox's defense lawyer, Christopher Gibbons, told the reporters.
Shit.
Don't
Quote,
say.
Obviously, with the
Where's
acquittals
Nicolas
occurring,
Cage?
that says a lot about what is going on in the case.
It was Operation Super Clusterfuck. That's what that entire thing was.
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Quite literally, you could say Operation Northwoods. Because
yeah, it is the North. It is the woods.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the thing that what's funny, like there's a book out there called "The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight," and it's this hilarious parody of like the mafia, where they're all really, really, really bad at everything they do. They could not fuck up as bad as this group managed to. Like, it is so many errors. Fucking William Shakespeare could not write a comedy of errors better than what this case turned out to be.
Yeah, because like the main argument of entrapment essentially is like the idea that this would never happen if the police were not involved. You can't claim if it was entrapment if it would have happened if the police was involved. So like a bait car is not entrapment because just because the one car you decided to break into was the bait car doesn't mean you weren't breaking into cars. That's how the logic works. Yeah. When you have them admitting that the entire plan was created by a CI, that the CI went out of his way to bring these people together, give them money, host the training, keep the group together when they were splitting apart, bring them, like, concoct the whole thing, drive them to Whitmer's house. Like, how can you argue that this would have happened? Like, these guys would not have come up with the idea without the FBI. They would have never met each other without the FBI. They would not have trained together without the FBI. They wouldn't have a place to train together without the FBI.
They wouldn't have had the training
on
itself.
So many lists. Colette's on so many lists. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, probably the same list we are all on. So
no, she's on another list. But one, I'm gonna point. It's mentioned in the Boulevard op-ed that we're going to get to, but there's like since 9/11, there's been like 500 people charged with domestic terrorism, and like 1% convicted, and of those 500, like 38% were entrapment.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing that you saw happen kind of at the end of Prohibition, right, with the DEA, where they kind of what would become the DEA, where they had to justify their existence now. There was no reason for a lot of this to exist. They had to come up with things. So they had to start pointing fingers and going, well, but marijuana, it's bad because, you know, it's going to make black guys want to dance with white women. And you know, and this drug is bad because of this and this, like that was what they had to do, and they straight up admitted that they did it to justify their existence. We're seeing exactly the same thing out of the FBI and the ATF and the DEA and everybody else now, because they have to justify, it's Homeland, because they have to justify their existence, because everyone's starting to realize that it's all security theater. So they have to be like, no, see, look, these people exist, except you're making them all exist.
It's like it's like a just a different version of stop and frisk.
Yeah.
Right. We're going after everybody. We're trying to make you say something dumb, in hopes that you do something dumb.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like crazy for the simple fact that if we just assume that this case was proven fake, but every other case there's nothing suspicious going on, they're 100% legit. Let's go with that. What has the FBI accomplished? They knew about the Pulse nightclub shooter. They knew about this train attack guy that he was apparently on a watch list. They knew about the guy that shot up the church in Texas. They knew, there's so many things. Have the FBI done anything about any of
Vegas?
No.
Vegas, yeah.
So
there are so many
Oklahoma City.
questions.
Yeah, assuming those are all legit, which people will argue whatever, and just this one's fake, then you're useless. So yeah, the only people they catch are people that they seem to put into place, and the people that you think they'd be there to stop, they know about and don't do anything. So it's like,
yeah, well, it's like there's the one. I think the kid was in Michigan, Muslim kid.
I was actually about to go on a long fucking rant about this because this is where my hatred of the FBI field office in Detroit is particularly the worst one in the country.
Yeah, go ahead, tell the story.
Yeah, so the FBI Detroit, you can go all the way back to the shoe bomber to where, for people that don't know, Dearborn, Michigan, it's about 30 minutes west of Detroit, has the highest Muslim population in the entire country.
Dearbornistan.
Yep. Yes. Like literally, like you can step in there and you can feel like you're in a Middle Eastern country, and that's because Henry Ford brought a lot of Middle Eastern people over and everything like that. There's a lot of Iranians, a lot of Chaldeans, there's a lot of that there, and because of that, during the whole Bush war on terror shit, the FBI was running around doing all sorts of flagrantly racist shenanigans against the Muslim population there. Yeah. And the most recent one before all of this was very similar to this one, especially seeming details that came out in the court trial, to where they had this depressed Muslim kid in Dearborn. He was a pizza delivery driver, and he was posting spicy shit on the internet, whatever, but he hadn't done anything. So they got an FBI agent to pretend to be a woman, Muslim woman, on Tinder, deliberately seek him out, match with him, flirt with him, arrange a wedding, play with this kid's heart for 3 months, and then literally I think it was the day before him and his dad were supposed to go out to meet them for their arranged wedding, she just ghosts him.
Yeah.
And then in that moment of that kid obviously probably heartbroken, freaking out, he gets matched with another Muslim girl on Tinder, except for this one isn't talking about marriage. This one's talking about shooting up Arby's for Allah. That turned out to be an FBI agent as well. And
roast beef, Poppy. Roast beef.
Yeah, and she sat there. Well, this FBI agent could have been a man. This FBI agent sat there for weeks and tried to convince this Muslim kid to go shoot up something for Allah or whatever. And then when he said no, that he didn't want to do it and stopped talking to her, FBI Detroit rolled in and arrested him. And then he eventually finally got let go because he's like, "What are you arresting this kid for?" And he's like, you're trying to throw him in jail because he didn't commit a terror attack." That's FBI Detroit right there. So that's why as soon as because of that story, as soon as all of this came out, I was like, bullshit. FBI Detroit's involved. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. That's what they tried to do with Randy Weaver too. If you don't do this, we're going to arrest you.
That's like those idiots over in Minneapolis that they picked up for supposedly supplying weapons to Hamas because
Benjamin Teeter and all them.
It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did that.
Hamas is totally going to work with a gay white kid.
Yeah, right. Well, don't forget that they also did that a few years ago in I think that was in Minneapolis, where they convinced that kid with who I think had Down syndrome, they worked him for 2 or 3 years to convince him that he should start getting involved in drugs and gun running and everything else. Mm-hmm. And he didn't actually, but as soon as he agreed, because if you're my friend, you're going to do this. Then they arrest him and then, and start getting into a circle jerk. Look, we stopped a terrorist.
Yeah.
You manipulated.
You manipulated a mentally ill child, a mentally ill person into doing what you wanted.
The DEA did that with a special needs kid here in Southern California. Right. Turn him into special need kids just looking for friends. And they're like, oh, well, if you carry this to this place, we'll be your friend. And then they hit him with drug trafficking.
Yep.
Thousands.
Isn't there one that they got him to get a store tattoo or something for their storefront?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's disgusting. And it came out in the court trial. This lady been tweeting about it. Let me pull up what her name is. It's hang on. I just had it up. Let me search. What's it? No, man. She was live tweeting the entire thing. Julie Kelly, she was in the courthouse tweeting it. But in this case, for I think Adam Fox, they had a CI's girlfriend become another CI. So we're, like I said, the deeper you go in, the more than 14 feds are involved. The number keeps going up. But yeah, had a CI's girlfriend also become a confidential informant to flirt with Adam Fox and tried to convince him to go through this plot. So it's like FBI Detroit just has a thing for like trying to get emotionally manipulate dudes through women. Like that's their go-to tactic.
I was gonna say it's not just FBI Detroit. I would hazard an inference that that's a nationwide thing.
Oh yeah,
that's an intentional, blatant nationwide thing that they're all taught. You know, if this guy is exhibiting signs that he might be emotionally vulnerable, do whatever you have to do to manipulate that person into action.
Watch out for the fucking honeypots, man. It's the honeypots every fucking time.
Right.
Especially if you look like most of us here on the podcast and you get a honeypot, that guaranteed it's a CI.
Yes. If you're an unfuckable nerd like most of us, and suddenly a very attractive woman is telling you that she'll love you if you shoot up Arby's, don't fall for it.
We warned you.
Hold on. There's another one of those coming up. Andrew Burge, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, vowed to retry the accused ringleaders, Fox and Croft. Quote, "We thought the jury would convict beyond reasonable doubt based on the evidence we put forward. We believe in the jury system. We have 2 defendants awaiting trial."
I don't think Binger could have fucked this up that bad.
Hold on.
He might have been able to.
This is another one coming up, and I know Magnus knows this story. The verdicts came almost exactly 10 years after the acquittals of 5 members of the Hotry militia following their trial in Detroit. Hotry members were accused of talking about killing law enforcement officers and using weapons of mass destruction to attack the funeral procession. They were acquitted of seditious conspiracy following the 2012 trial, marking one of the landmark losses for the federal prosecutors of Michigan in recent history. Hold on.
Because it came out that the FBI came up with the whole plot again, dude. It's the same script every time. Yes,
the FBI came up with it. Let's see. 7 members were released. 7 defendants in most serious charges related to conspiracy and sedition. They were free to go. 3 of them pled guilty to weapons charges. They were they were given credit for time served and released. Oh, and then they got all the property back.
That's awesome.
My favorite like brief FBI entrapment story ever was about the Viper militia in Arizona. It's my favorite story. So the whole case is more complicated, but my favorite part of it is like, okay, how do we drum up support to go after these this boomer militia that ended up only having bolt action World War I rifles in their fucking compound? How do we drum up? Well, I know. We'll sell them as white supremacists, but there's an issue. Literally,
that was PatCon, right?
Yeah,
PatCon. Yeah, the FBI literally created a Nazi militia.
Yeah, so they go to these boomer militia dudes and they have their CI go in and he like raises up to the ranks, whatever, to a voting member. And then they have him for 6 meetings in a row vote to add Mein Kampf to their literature. It unanimously gets voted down to the point where the dude almost blew his cover as a CI because it's like, bro, why do you keep wanting us to add Nazi shit? It's like, oh my god! Like it's the most FBI story of all time. He's like, sir, I brought it up 4 times now. I think they're starting to catch on. Don't do it a 6th time.
No, guys, trust me. Like he's holding his lapel. Trust me, guys. We should really vote on this, right? What are you talking about? No, I'm not an informant. What?
But yeah, that was Operation PatCon, which ran during the 80s and the 90s. That was responsible for like Ruby Ridge and Waco and Oklahoma City and a few other ones. And there was like 3 people arrested over like a decade of investigation, and they were all like on minor charges.
Yeah, because going all the way back to Operation Gladio.
Yeah, PatCon is Patriot Conspiracy, by the way. Operation Patriot Conspiracy.
all feds are Nazis, or all Nazis are feds. That's just the thing, because they seem to find each other all the time. They love working with each other. They love creating each other.
Wasn't that the leader of the Proud Boy? Didn't he become an informant?
He used to be a confidential informant.
Used to be.
That's why when the Trumpers get all butt hurt when I accuse Tario of being an informant, he admits to being an informant. He ran around with what, Miami PD or some shit like that, busting people for mushrooms for years.
Yep.
Fuck you, you're an informant.
No, I used to be a bad guy, but I've totally turned my back, guys. Like,
Yes.
Promise.
Right. Not once a snitch, always a snitch. Never mind.
I swear.
The guy that happens to get popped for 30-round magazine in the backseat of his car 2 days before January 6th happened, so he's comfortably sitting in jail while all of his homies that he fucking told to go got arrested.
What a coincidence.
This seems kind of weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're insinuating, but clearly that is simply a lucky coincidence, because how much worse would it have been if he had been there? Clearly, they're heroes that stopped him.
He might have ripped down a BLM flag off of a fucking church and burned it like an idiot.
Let's see.
He may
It would have been
really
the only thing
hurtful-
glowing.
He may not have obeyed the velvet ropes in the hall.
Mother,
Worst
Come this way
insurrection
for the
ever.
insurrection, guys. Come this way. This way for the insurrection.
And we're
This way.
walking, and we're lighting our torches. We're lighting our torches. Okay.
not a
We're on
mosquito.
several
Not a
on
mosquito in the
side.
area.
he was gonna have a Dan Bazarian moment where he goes mask off and runs up to a police officer. No, I'm a cop. It's okay.
Give me a gun. No. I love that moment. No.
Extremism experts said it appeared that defense lawyers effectively sowed enough doubt among jurors after arguing throughout the trial that FBI agents and key informant Dan Chappell manipulated and entrapped the 4 defendants and plied them with marijuana.
The devil's lettuce.
You don't fucking say.
Well, the ultimate question will be, did the jury come to the conclusion that the mess of informants and the amount of stuff the defense threw was enough to muddy the waters, says John Lewis, a researcher at the Program of Extremism at George
Muddy the
Washington
waters
University.
by telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
By accusing us of doing exactly what we did, you are only going to confuse people as to what you did, which we made you do.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to get through this with a straight face. Whitmer Chief of Staff Joanne Holes responded to the verdict saying, quote, "Today, Michiganders and Americans, especially our children, are living through the normalization of political violence. The plot to kidnap and kill a governor may seem like an anomaly, but we must be honest about what it really is: the result of violent, divisive rhetoric that is all too common across the country. There must be accountability and consequences for those who commit heinous crimes. Without accountability, extremists will be beholden."
It's the federal government.
Will embolden.
It's the federal government that was committing the crime that was trying to kidnap and kill the governor. The federal government is known to commit crimes all across the world. Why should it surprise anybody that they commit them here too?
Right?
Yeah.
It's just insane because like
there must be accountability and consequences for those who commit heinous crimes.
Because again, like I said, like I think there's like 3 or 4 major details that made their case fall apart completely, but I already brought up one of the fact that the federal officer that was running the op admitted that they were fucking falling apart at the seams and weren't going to do anything together. That's one. The other one, and I have in this tweet right here, which is just damning as hell to me, is the whole kind of impetus for their arrest at the end of the day is like, okay, well, they went to Whitmer's house, but they didn't really do anything. They drive around, whatever. We need the moment. The FBI needs the moment where it's like, okay, these guys are getting together to finalize the plan or get gear or whatever. So the CI texts all these guys and quote from the lady who's quoting directly from the transcript of the court, asked these guys to show up to a B-dubs, and then they would leave and go to a warehouse to get kit and to get to, I think, like, quote, like medical kits and stuff like that. So now we're all people, whatever. If your friend says, come pick up some gear, your first thought isn't to jump to bombs or some shit. It's fucking like IFAKs or, you know, optics for your gun or something like that, whatever. And that's what all these guys assumed. They even included that the guy had said, come get medical kits, probably IFAK pouches or whatever. Well, all these guys show up to B-dubs and they get swarmed by the FBI and arrested. And how was this sold in the press and from the FBI up until the court, where they had to admit what was actually said? That they were meeting to get bombs. And that's what kit meant. They were showing up to a warehouse to get explosives, until the FBI agent flipped. That actually, no, he told the dudes to show up and get some gear and medical equipment. Oops. That's why they didn't want these motherfuckers to testify.
This is fucking Kit, right? This is Kit. Fucking my vest is Kit. This is Kit.
Andrew, I hate to say it, but those knee pads look well worn.
Yep.
They are, dude, for the record, those knee pads have been on 4 continents. There's a reason they're worn.
Yeah. The acquittals in mistrial come 1 year after the first sign of trouble in the case. In March 2021, federal prosecutors dumped one of their lead informants, Wisconsin felon Stephen Robeson, and indicted him on federal gun crime.
Which that was the guy I referenced. I don't know if I brought that up before we went live or if we said it when I was live, of the guy that he was pretty sure he was instructed by the FBI or used his connections as an FBI informant to buy. I think he actually bought like a Barrett 50 cal or some shit while as a felon, while being a confidential informant, and then got arrested for it. So like, and then that was I think it was either that guy or the guy that beat his wife that they.
This is Robeson is the one that beat his wife.
Okay, yeah, that's the guy that.
No. Trask is the one that beat his wife.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was Trask that beat his wife.
Did he used to be a cop? Because that would make sense.
No, Trask was an FBI agent.
Yes, and that was the best part. They tried to turn around and accuse him of being a double agent.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Double agent. That's Robeson, why he beat his wife.
Wisconsin felon Robeson indicted him of federal gun crime. Prosecutors accused him of working as a double agent, offering to finance attacks and use a drone to commit domestic terrorism. The Robeson scandal would soon be followed by more warning signs. FBI agent Richard Trask served as the FBI's public face in the Whitmer case, testifying in federal court about the investigation until he was arrested in July, accused of beating his wife after a swingers party, fired, and convicted of assault.
It's dude, I can't, like, if you tried to write this,
it was an orgy in Kalamazoo. I just want to put that out there.
He beat his wife after an orgy at Kalamazoo. Just that line. If Netflix tried to write about an FBI field office at like the way they do like with Space Force, they try to do the same kind of show, no one would watch it because they'd be like, this is too ridiculous. No one is ever going to believe that anything this absurd is actually going to happen. You'd have to have a laugh track. And
with Space Force, everybody could believe it.
All right, 2.5 paragraphs. Defense lawyers raised more questions about 2 other FBI case agents, including one accused of trying to profit off the case by creating a cybersecurity firm, while insisting government informants, especially Chappell, invented the conspiracy and entrapped the defendants. Quote, to me, this was a signal, a rogue FBI agent trying to line his own pockets with his own cybersecurity company and then pushing the conspiracy that just never was. Never was going to be. Our governor was never in any danger. Quote, I think the jury, even though they didn't get all of it, they smelled enough of it.
Because that was the first kind of chink in the armor, if we want to go like timeline wise, was this idiot was on Facebook tweeting about the upcoming arrests before they happened. while marketing his cybersecurity company.
John C. Reilly could not play a more convincingly inept agent.
Actually, I have the article right here. So, because they got subpoenaed right here from BuzzFeed News. One of the lead FBI agents listed in the case appears to have tweeted about an FBI investigation into the Michigan kidnapping plot before it went public. On the afternoon
Stellar
of October
recommendation
7th,
for your
long before
cybersecurity
anyone got
firm.
arrested, a Twitter account known for right-wing trolling issued an enigmatic warning. Don't worry, Michigan. I told you a lot more coming soon. Provided no other details, but just hours later, the FBI raided these guys. Turned out that was one of the lead feds in the case. And of course, like all good Twitter shills, under every one of his tweets was my cybersecurity company.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, baby girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that's, I mean, like, no, guys, we should totally do that. I'll meet you guys in a second. Actually, you know what? I just got a text. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Which
Hold on.
I almost feel like that was there's a chance that he was the smartest dude in the agency at that moment, because there's a distinct possibility that he was sitting there watching the shit show go down and being like, oh god, at least I'm gonna get some traffic to my business before this all goes up in flames.
The smartest guy in the
everybody else
FBI.
right.
How many CIs do we have? Oh god.
How many CIs do we have involved in this? How many non-CIs are involved in this?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like I mean, like it was like 12 of the 15 that were arrested on the conspiracy charge were CIs or FBI agents.
Yeah.
And it was like 24 of 40 total overall that were like FBI or FBI informants.
Yeah, I think it was either Ohio or Tennessee, I forget which state. 3%er chapter was totally manufactured and run by the FBI, and that's how who was like liaisoning with these guys in Michigan was totally just like a manufactured FBI operation, to the point where they had a CI swear into their fake Fed militia in front of the guys to make it seem more legit.
Oh,
Wow.
See, and the thing is like, if you picture that moment, that like the way that, how in movies it's always portrayed like that the CIs get cuffed and then they get uncuffed, and like, and the people who are actually going down see it and everything. Like, imagine if this huge group gets cuffed and then like only 3 dudes are left standing there, and the entire rest of everybody at this meeting is just getting uncuffed and like, hey, congratulations. Like, they'd be like, are you serious right now? Like,
they're looking at each other. Oh, dude, you're FBI too. Oh yeah, 3 years.
Like two of them are.
It's
are
like
only.
All I can see right now is the Spider-Man meme, except there's like 30
everybody.
of these fuckers.
No, it's like the Detroit, where the Detroit Drug Task Force tried to arrest the county sheriff drug task force at the.
Dude, that's my favorite Michigan. That's pure Michigan right there. When you see the pure Michigan ads, it's literally Wayne County Sheriff's Department getting into fist fights with DPD over both trying to pretend to be drug dealers.
Well, because they're the only ones who would believe that they're drug dealers. Everyone else is like, nah, you're definitely fucking narc. Like,
which, by the way, to all these CIs and undercovers, I don't know if you watched that video that came out yesterday of a particular law enforcement officer getting lit the fuck up by another particular law enforcement officer because he didn't know he was he didn't know he was an undercover cop.
Yeah.
Might want to quit your day job, fellas.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
That's one of those circumstances where you actually get some good news out of these, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, but don't forget, like, if you haven't watched the movie about the Tupac Biggie investigation, right? The guy who was investigating Biggie, and how that all got kicked off with him was one undercover cop killing another undercover cop because of a road rage incident, and then things just snowballed from there. Like, shit like that happens all the fucking time, where 2 undercover cops draw weapons on each other. I mean, if you think about it, it's got to be so common at this point. If you just carried a fake badge, they would probably believe you and let you go.
Yeah, because
they can't be certain.
I mean, especially now that they're even involving Capitol Police in like state crime shit across the country. Of you have so many federal agencies and then these divisions of like, you could legitimately have the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, the ATF, the DEA, the Highway Patrol, the county sheriff's office, and the state police all working a case and not know because they don't fucking talk to each other.
Because that's just
Right.
I mean, there's that you got to write a sitcom about it though, and the guy who's got to be the head, right? The head of the FBI field office is the dude from the Farmers Insurance commercials. That guy, he's got to be like the head of the FBI and just constantly going, Jesus is a clusterfuck. Oh my God, you're idiots. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Someone make a sitcom where it is literally just like 18 different departments all working a case and none of them know that they're all cops. And they're just
Right. The entire
the whole
show,
thing.
The entire show starts off with that guy sitting behind his desk going over a report, and he's just flipping through it, and then it cuts to the show. And then
it just has a big newspaper clipping of like FBI scandal, no charges, and something plot, and it's just like him.
Just body bags wheeling past him in the hallway, just constantly, and you see guys with FBI jackets, and then ATF jackets, and then DEA jackets,
U.S. Marshals,
and like just wheeling U.S. Marshals, just wheeling all these. Just this massive shootout in a warehouse, and literally no one wasn't a federal agent.
We'll jump over to the Bouvard op-ed. Skip a few paragraphs. Whitmer enraged many Michiganders by placing the entire state under house arrest after the outbreak of COVID-19. Anyone left their home to visit family or friends risked a $1,000 fine, and business owners faced 3 years of prison for refusing to close their stores. Unemployment soared to 24%. Whitmer was denounced at protests and on the Facebook page of the Wolverine Watchmen, where angry anti-government bluster poured forth. Facebook's chief, Mark Zuckerberg, testified to Congress in October 2020 that Facebook had, quote, identified the Whitmer kidnap plot, quote, as a signal to the FBI about 6 months ago regarding, quote, suspicious activity on our platform.
FBI signals FBI informant via Facebook.
But the plot didn't exist at that point. That is until multiple government-paid newcomers joined the group. Stephen Robeson, an FBI informant with a list of felonies and other crimes, organized key events to build the movement.
How awful an informant are you that you still wind up with felonies?
Dan Chappell, another FBI informant who was paid $54,000, became the second in command and mastermind of the military training for the group, even as he helped the feds wiretap their messages. Hold on. Though several militia members explicitly opposed kidnapping the governor, Chappell and Robeson helped launch a ludicrous plot to snatch Whitmer from her vacation home and take her away for trial. FBI operatives took the participants, who prattled idiotically about stealing a Black Hawk helicopter, for drives near the Whitmer's vacation home, and supposedly proved they were going to nab the governor and unleash havoc.
No one will ever notice a missing fucking UH-60. They're so easy to misplace.
Again, everyone like there is kind of this narrative of like, oh, these guys were stupid. I just think they were shit posting. I think they were just drunk with their homies in a basement, just fucking like talking about the most absurd.
Yep.
Like, I really make memes. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna steal a little bird and go attack Google headquarters. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, yeah, and it's
like that's what it is. It's a smoke pit, right? Like it's your homies, you're hanging around, you're having a bud, you're having some beers, you start talking shit. That was literally the entire plot.
And I mean, never happens.
And that's the thing is like, and despite everything, like them, but like hitting them with cattle prods and going, like other than like founding some sort of like new Greek fraternity and demanding that as pledges they go do this thing, they did everything they could to get them to commit an overt act, and they still didn't commit an actual overt act.
Bro, some of them on the tapes referred to Adam Fox as Captain Retard.
No. It was Captain Autism, even better.
Or Captain Autism, whatever.
Captain Autism.
It's just like,
which again, everyone here has gotten a low hot. That's how we talk about all of us. That's how we all.
Yeah, we're just.
Yep. It was all set up shortly before the excursion.
Right?
An FBI agent texted instructions to Chappell, quote, "Mission is to kill the governor specifically." there were as many FBI informants and undercover agents as there were perpetrated plotters in the case.
More. Significantly more.
We don't need to
scales
read.
of justice were tipped a little bit.
We don't need to read this article again, but I just want to point it out there again. The conspiracy began unraveling even before the trial began last March. Robert Trask, who was a lead FBI agent and the public face of the kidnapping case, was fired after he was arrested for, quote, beating his wife during an argument over an orgy that the two had attended at a hotel in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That really does remind me
That
of
that was a New York Times headline, by the way.
Yeah, the end of Burn After Reading. Like, if you've ever seen Burn After Reading, that ending where the killing the dude with the hammer and our agent had to intervene, and like it really reminds me of that moment. Jesus.
How do we not know that his wife was not also a CI? I mean, at this point, can we rule it out?
Maybe the beating was staged in order to get him fired so they could charge him too.
Entrapment operations exploded thanks to the court rulings of 1973. Trevor Aronson, author of the Terror Factory Inside the FBI's Manufacturing Terrorism, estimated that only about 1% of the 500 people charged with international terrorism offenses in the decades after 9/11 were bona fide threats. 30 times as many were induced by the FBI to behave in ways that prompted their arrest. That was the stat I brought up earlier. Thanks to Supreme Court rulings minimizing entrapment defenses, federal Judge Robert Yonker blocked defense attorneys from informing the jury of almost all the evidence of federal misconduct in the Whitmer case.
It just it blows my the whole thing blows my mind that
hold on. Give me two paragraphs.
It blew my mind.
Hold on, give me two paragraphs. As BuzzFeed's Ken Benzinger responded, the jury refused to convict, quote, despite the government's extraordinary efforts to muzzle the defense. Prosecutors went to extraordinary lengths to exclude evidence and witnesses that might undermine their arguments, while winning the right to bring in almost anything favorable to their own side. BuzzFeed also noted that the judge, quote, ruled that defendants could not inquire about the past conduct of several FBI agents, though the government would be allowed to question the defendants about episodes in their past. But the jury saw enough to smell a federal rat.
Yeah.
Magnus, did you freeze?
I think Magnus is frozen.
Oh, that's a bummer. He'll come back around. Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, what blows my mind about this whole thing is that it's just like not only did they manage to completely fuck up everything by just like going so full Asian provocateur that there was no way that anyone could believe it wasn't entrapment, but then it's so blatant that like even BuzzFeed is like, holy shit, this is super obvious. What the fuck is going on? When everybody universally is going, wow, you guys are fucking insane. You are really dumb. Holy shit. It's maybe time to reflect as an agency.
Yeah, when you have a 3-to-1 ratio of FBI agents and informants to actual, like, quote unquote perpetrators, if that doesn't start raising your eyebrows, I don't know what will. Like, you have to have just an irrational support of federal agencies if you do not like start going,
Well, yeah.
The sad thing is I know way too many of them like that I working in healthcare that are that far gone. Where they're just like, oh, I don't know how the hell they didn't get them. I mean, they had them.
Well, because they don't know anything about the case, and like,
Right.
I can kind of understand because it's so complicated, and really, like, you do have to dig in and get more and more of the details. And then, like, I feel like if I could sit most people down and walk them through the case, they would at least be like, well, these were bad news. Like, the FBI were idiots, and it's like that at least, you know, like anything else outside of that is irrational.
Yeah.
You can't possibly believe that these guys are good guys. Like, you can't look at this and think that any of these CIs, any of these agents is a good person or a good cop.
Hold on.
Like,
okay, the Times reported in January. January was before the trial. Times reported in January that the Michigan case was, quote, one of the most significant recent domestic terrorism cases. a test of Washington's commitment to pursue far-right groups who seek to kindle a violent anti-government insurgency.
Far right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how articles like literally in the same thing will be like far right, but they hate cops.
Yeah. I mean,
I love what they did the same thing with Benjamin Teeter, where Benjamin Teeter was like an anarcho-communist, and like far right gun extremists.
yeah. I loved when that happened too, because I'm just like, yeah, the dude with the like the rainbow brony flag on his vest and like the hammer and sickle, he's definitely very, very far right, ultra conservative, crazy. Are you paying attention at all?
Yeah, and again, like it's funny too, because like, you know, I've admitted to this is funny, that I myself have gone with people and stood outside of Gretchen Whitmer's home with AR-15s and megaphones and yelled at her for allowing a particular thing that happened in Grand Rapids, where state police shot a dude point blank in the face with a fucking rotary, what is it, the fucking Mark 19, whatever.
Yeah, you got on the map for doing a speech on the Capitol House steps.
Yeah,
right.
like Michigan State Police shot a dude right in the face with a fucking smoke round out of a launcher, like maybe 6 yards away, just blasted him right in the face with it. And that was while Whitmer was like grandstanding about George Floyd and everything, while her state police are like shooting people in Grand Rapids. So it's like, fuck yourself.
With 40 millimeter gas grenades.
Yeah.
Out of an M302.
Yeah.
Like that's
Don't feel good.
Yeah, no,
No,
there's
probably-
I've
probably
actually
not.
seen I have seen video of what can happen because those smoke rounds can penetrate at that range.
It's metal. They're
and
not meant to hit you.
Yeah, and I actually watched a video of smoke pouring from a dude's eyes, mouth, and ears and his nose because it was lodged in his sinuses and blaring smoke, and he's rolling around, and it's horrifying to watch.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing there. And like nobody's really talked about it, but I just know from personal experience, there was more than a few guys that I knew personally that got raided after those arrests for potential connections to it. And like when the FBI goes as far to raid your house and then lets you go, then you know it's a shit show. And it happened to my buddy Brian Pruffinger. He's like an attorney up in Bay City and everything like that. They raided him and took all of his guns, all of his like attorney equipment, all of his financial like records and stuff like that, took all of that. And then we're like, oh, I guess you're not connected to this all. You were literally just in a Facebook chat with these guys, which I don't know if everybody remembers the Facebook boog days. We were in a chats with a lot of people that are in jail or dead now.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. But they haven't given him any of the shit back yet. It's been what, like almost 2 years, and he took all his guns.
So they stole shit from an attorney, including like confidential financial records and everything, and they're just not giving it back.
Yeah, if you ever went to a financial attorney anywhere around Saginaw, I hope it wasn't him, because the FBI has your shit now.
Yep. All right. Let's see. There's a couple of paragraphs I want to get to right here. When the arrests were announced in October 2020, a top Justice Department attorney proclaimed that the case showed, quote, "Our state and federal governments are working together to keep us all safe." But the case actually illustrates how the Supreme Court and federal judges have entitled federal agents to create the crimes they claim to thwart. Prior to the 1970s, defendants often successfully challenged entrapment as a violation of due process. But in 1973, the Supreme Court, in an opinion written by Chief Justice William Rehnquist, gutted most defenses against government entrapment by focusing almost solely on the, quote, "subjective disposition of the entrapped person." If prosecutors can find any inkling of the defendant's disposition of the crime, then that person is guilty, no matter how outrageous or abusive the government agent's behavior.
coming
from fucking Rehnquist, I'm not surprised at all. That dude's a fucking tool.
That shifted American justice from a kind of a unique thing that was anti-agent provocateur to more of a European model, because like in France, agent provocateur is totally allowed. So you can entrap people all you want.
Justice William Brennan dissented, warning that the decision could empower law enforcement agents to, quote, round up and jail all predisposed individuals.
Yep.
There's a
almost
point
like
there. I might be wrong about this, but of all of the coverage that I have consumed on this case, and Scott Horton talking about it in BuzzFeed and in the report, and even the court, from what I saw that came out of it, we were working with local law enforcement. Have any of you guys seen any reference to Michigan State Police? Have you guys seen any reference to any sheriff? No, it was just the FBI in their own little universe. Just running.
The local law enforcement was like, dude, you guys completely fucked this. We want no part of it.
Yeah. Hey, can we get your assist on this arrest? Let me see details of the case. Fuck no.
Who am I to arrest 21 people and all of them except for 4 are CIs?
It wasn't 4. I think it wasn't 4. I think it was like 6. But 2 of those already pled guilty.
Yeah.
And they got like really light sentences.
Yeah, well, they haven't been sentenced yet. They're hoping for reduced sentences because of this. But
I would demand a jury trial now at this point.
Yeah, I'd rescind my plea.
Goof on you guys. I mean, I understand you were scared. The FBI was threatening to put you away for the rest of your life, but damn, you just would have held on, like, because the case for them was even more flimsy. Because like Fox and all of those at least could argue were like upper echelon. These were just dudes. They would have walked.
Well, that's what I was saying with like the scene where they all get like uncuffed. Like, there's 3 guys who stay cuffed. 2 of them are actually members of the militia. And, like, one was just delivering a fucking pizza. Like,
one was the UPS driver bringing their plate carriers.
Yeah, right. He's like, what's going on, man?
I was here to give the Stop a Bleed course, and everyone here is a Fed.
Yeah, what is going on?
No.
God, if only they could do that to their budget.
Right.
No.
Stop the bleed.
All three of them are like Jehovah's Witnesses that had showed up. Like, everybody else is agents, and they just arrest 3 Jehovah's Witnesses.
That was the question I did want to ask, though, because they brought up how bad Whitmer's lockdowns was. I'm only a little bit familiar with some of the more extreme cases, but did any of y'all states ban getting gas for boats, so effectively banning fishing? Did any of your guys' states?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and California was bad, but the San Francisco Bay Area, which is like the 9 counties in the Bay Area, like they have their own government. Really, they do have their own government. They had like really heavy lockdowns, but we didn't even have anything like that. Like, I mean,
did you guys have any?
Like, Walmart was completely open. You just had to.
Did you guys have any like a European style where stores were banned from selling non-essential products?
No. If the store was open, you could buy whatever was in there.
Did you guys have an explicit ban on seeds?
No.
Actually, they tried that. They tried that. Evers tried that out of the gate, and he got shot down immediately.
I think a lot of people underestimate.
At one point, there was an instance where there was like this neighborhood over by I want to say it was in the Oshkosh area. And the police showed up because this woman had let her kids go outside to play with the kids next door.
Mm-hmm.
And so they showed up and they told her that if they catch them out there again, then she's going to go to jail and her kids are going to become wards of the state.
Yeah, I think Michigan's were the worst, and then Washington's and Oregon's. Like, Washington like shut down like all
because
elective medical procedures. Like, one of the podcasts I listened to, Prepping 2.0, the male host Glenn Tate, like, he was supposed to have a colonoscopy, right? And then they shut down the elective procedures. I don't know why colonoscopy is an elective procedure. And went by like 6 months.
Sound like something I do for my own pleasure.
Yeah, went by like 6 months. And then got really sick and went to the hospital, and the hospital's like, "Oh shit! Well, you have a tumor that a routine colonoscopy would have, found."
Yep.
And then
they had
surgery and chemo.
On the rise. That's been on the rise all across the country. I mean, colorectal cancer, and anybody over the age of 40 is on the extreme rise.
We really don't want to talk about rectal cancer at this point.
But
I was
We're
just-
talking about the
uh,
FBI. We have
I
enough
was just
records here for-
I was just talking about the lockdowns.
But yeah, I was just saying, I only bring it up because the reason, like, a lot of people forget just how bad, like, Michigan was definitely in the top 5 for lockdowns. But the reason why it isn't talked about anymore was kind of how the Watchmen come into this story, because just like a month into her trying to pull this bullshit, everyone from the northern half of the state went to the
Yeah.
Capitol with guns, and they
Yep.
and that was like the what happened in Lansing that day was kind of like the proto January 6th, because they tried to claim that these guys stormed the building and that they had like pushed their way and they were fighting cops or whatever. I had a lot of friends that were there, and there's pictures of them being temperature checked by state police and then waved in the door.
Washington, they went into the state house armed also, and it turned out that one of the state reps had like opened a side door.
Yep.
And let them
So
in.
it really was like the test, like I said, and then the main FBI guy went to DC, so that's a whole nother thing. But it was kind of like this proto January 6th thing going on with them, and like because of that, the northern half of the state got opened, and the southern half of the state was still like more locked down. So people were partying in northern Michigan when the southern half of the state was still locked down, and it got to the point where the whole reason I got blocked off of Facebook is the Republican nominee for my district in Michigan was trying to get the county sheriffs to block the interstate to prevent people from southern Michigan coming up north to party to avoid lockdowns. And obviously I was calling him a fucking idiot and that he should take a long walk off a short pier.
Oh man,
Facebook. So.
That's ridiculous.
Andrew lives in a minor urban area, and I live in an extremely rural area. And out here, throughout the entire thing, nothing really changed, other than the woman at the local store who rammed me with her cart for not wearing a face diaper.
Yeah. So like I said, like that's the important detail of like how bad the lockdown.
Oh, she was bad.
Why people were so pissed because like not to mention Michigan unemployment. I think it wasn't until
24% it says is what it went up to.
Yeah. And the unemployment agency didn't think to send out like have any kind of system for people that were contractors. I'm forgetting it's not W-2, it's
1099.
Yeah, they didn't have any plan for anyone who was 1099 until like 4 months into lockdown, which included me as a vendor. I'm 1099, so every painter, every self-employed truck driver, all those people were fucked for 4 months with no unemployment, and it was like,
and that's
people were pissed. People were pissed.
To Fed post for just a second. If this was a legitimate, I said Fed post and Magnus's camera turned off. So, like, if this was a legitimate plot, like, I can't fault them.
No.
Right?
I remember Andrew and I talking about this face to face when we were at the range one of those times.
Yeah, I remember. You know what's funny is that was actually when we were talking about that was when that ATF guy showed up at the range.
That was hilarious.
That was so that if anybody hasn't listened to the show to know what that story is. So me and Chris are at the range and we're just shooting and talking about the Whitmer case and just shooting and just having a good time. This white Camaro pulls up and it's got absolutely blackout tinted windows. You cannot possibly see in this car. It rolls down. None of us has ever seen this thing at the range before. It turns and it backs up and then stops and just parks. No one ever gets out. Door doesn't open. It just sits there for a while.
But what was really funny is I happened to pull out my phone. Now, cell service down there is generally really absolutely shit. And I pulled out my phone to check text messages just in case. And I had full service.
Yeah, all of a sudden our cell phones connect. Everything's going well. The dude is sitting there. It's hot. It's the summer. So dude opens the door to the car and you can see in, and it is nonstop electronics, like starting just to the right of the gauge cluster. It is nothing but readouts and dials and just nonstop electronics.
Essentially a patrol cruiser's worth of shit just sitting in the front
more.
seat.
It was more.
So much more.
It was like a surveillance van crammed into a Camaro.
Yeah. So it's just, and it's nothing but that. And the dude never gets out. He just opens the door like that far and then sits there in the car.
Yep.
and he's got a cell phone out. He never makes any eye contact. He's got a hat pulled down. He never looks at anybody, and he's just sitting there for a while, and just sits there for like an hour. He just sits there, doesn't do anything, never gets out.
There's a camera in the back. They recorded you.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then finally, Lindsay says something, and Lindsay and Chris start to go towards the vehicle, and Chris is armed.
See, as a member down there, I go around and when I'm out there and I check to make sure people that are shooting have memberships, because it is a shooting club.
Up the hill there's a gate. Like you have to get.
It says right on it, membership required beyond this point. So I start walking over. I'm just going to ask him for his membership card. I have my weapon with me because I just got off the firing line and Andrew's taking my bench. And as I'm walking over, he closes the door and drives away.
Just immediately slams the door and takes off.
Because that was like the whole like October to I think like that summer 2021 was where there was the full court FBI press against like our entire fucking movement, because that's when Teeter went down, that's when the Watchmen things went down, that's when they rolled on all of the UPG guys in Louisville. Like they were, that was their moment to just try to grab as many people, and most of those cases have fallen through or fallen apart or fucking gone to shit. The only ones that have gone through are the people that pled out instead of going to trial.
Well, yeah, that was
those
when
are the ones they tout as successes because we put this dangerous extremist away. They pled out because you were bullying the fuck out of them. If they had taken that shit to trial, they'd have walked.
Yeah, because they tried to get John in Louisville on a felony inciting a riot and communications crime and firing on a vehicle until they realized that the instance that he fired on a vehicle was in self-defense because it literally tried to run a bunch of people over at a fucking protest, like literally a big Tahoe like flying at a group of people full speed 60 miles per hour. He shot at it, so that ended up just getting dropped to him only spending 6 months in jail. So it's like,
well, shit, if it was a Tahoe, it's probably agents provocateur.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Never got any word about that. The cops never identified him, even though there's like 5 angles of cameras of this truck speeding towards these people.
All right, you guys want to have a good laugh?
Oh yeah, we're getting to the really good one.
Let's get to this op-ed from.
Oh Lord,
it's gonna have my favorite quote in it. Tell me when you get to the part about their girlfriends.
Yeah, this is an op-ed from NBC News. It's written by Nina Burley. She's the author of Virus, Vaccinations, the CDC, and the Hijacking of America's Response to the Pandemic.
Oh Lord.
Oh, this is going to be very sane.
This is going to be fun.
The first 2 sentences are just...
Well, this is the most unhinged shit I've ever read.
But can I read the first couple sentences?
Go ahead. If you want to read the first 2 sentences, go ahead.
All right, first 2 sentences. Daddy, do you want a Dorito? A little girl's voice asked. Honey, I'm making explosives. Can you get away from me, please?
That's the recorded exchange between Delaware trucker Barry Croft Jr. and his daughter, was just one of hundreds of examples of audio, video, and online chatter prosecutors presented to the jury considering the fate of the 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer in the fall of 2020.
The fuck does Delaware even have to do with it?
Because Delaware, one of the guys was from or some shit. This was like a multi-state thing.
Croft is one of the ones of the alleged leader. That was the hung jury on him.
And by the way, as many times as the FBI has brought up explosives in this case, multiple times they never found even explosive compounds, not even some tannerite at any of these motherfuckers' houses.
No. Croft and 3 other men were charged with the alleged plot, were associated with an armed anti-government gang called the Wolverine Watchmen. But on Friday, a federal jury did not convict any of the men. Brandon Costera and Daniel Harris were found not guilty of conspiracy. The jurors deadlocked on Barry Croft and Adam Fox, with the judge declaring a mistrial on those counts.
And by the way, I forgot to mention, it'll be really quick. I love how they threw in that the entire jury was all white, as if that wasn't like a point in their favor or something. Dude, if you had any black dude, black woman, don't give a fuck on there, they would have thrown that shit out even faster. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they would have been like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
The trial has been closely watched because of its potential implications for the increasingly bizarre relationship between Trumpist conservatives and law enforcement.
I'm confused. Are they anti-government domestic violent extremists, or are they pro-Trump?
Trumpist conservative.
They're mutually exclusive points here, guys.
Yeah,
cop hating,
Very.
cop hating anarchist Trump supporters.
They hate government so much that they want God Emperor.
Yeah, they're an armed anti-government gang, and they're Trumpist conservatives who don't like law enforcement. Yeah, let that one sink in.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah. In fall 2020, during the final tense, and this is fall 2020, during the final tense COVID-infested weeks before the election, with the prospect of political violence on the horizon, authorities arrested and charged 13 men with crimes simultaneously ridiculous and sinister. Prosecutors say members of a Michigan militia, enraged at their female governor's COVID lockdown orders, spent months plotting and training with the stated aim of capturing Whitmer and either putting her on trial or executing her or abandoning her on Lake Michigan in a boat without an engine.
I'm just saying, abandoning her in a boat without an engine on Lake Michigan would be funny.
Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious. I mean, like,
And
yeah. Oh,
let's
yes.
be honest. Capturing a governor is like capturing the pawn in front of your king in chess.
But I mean, like, the fact that her sex organs are internal and not external only matters to you, fuckface. It mattered to no one else at all.
No. Except for the people that were getting that woman from Michigan stickers and tattoos and shit like that, because the cult of personality Whitmer thing got so big after this. And then the worse the case looked, the more quiet Whitmer got. And she just slowly sunk from the public, and everybody's like, I'm just not going to talk about this anymore.
Although I did like some of the posters that people were holding that during the shit in Lansing, where it was like Heil Whitmer.
Yeah, Heil Whitmer.
That was fantastic.
Epic.
Yes. Defense lawyers have argued that the government entrapped politically outspoken but otherwise law-abiding men who were simultaneously exercising the First and Second Amendment rights to speak freely and collect weapons. Typically, entrapment is extremely hard to prove, but U.S. allows law enforcers to use the tactic against someone with a, quote, predisposition to commit a crime. Defendants must also essentially admit to the allegations, then prove that undercover agents or informants deceived them into the activities.
That's not necessarily the case, though. That's not how law works.
Especially when you consider the fact that it was the fucking feds who came up with the plot in the first place.
Technically, a defensive entrapment is an affirmative defense legally in legalistic terms, but
like I said, and I broke down the whole thing of entrapment beforehand, and like literally, this is textbook. It would have never happened. The whole thing would not exist.
Right.
Yeah. It's short of actually hitting them with cattle prods repeatedly and going, "No, you need to do this." They did everything they could to make people who didn't want to do this.
I mean, come on. The government provided them with pot to smoke. Yeah.
The federal government, which declares pot is still illegal, provided them with a Schedule I drug while they were hanging out getting
the
high.
FBI, which is in charge of enforcing federal marijuana prohibition, provided them with pot to smoke.
Well, they probably had a big enough fucking stock.
Well, yeah, they probably took it from somebody else, some poor college kid who was like,
nonetheless, the pleadings of defense attorneys got mainstream coverage during the long period between arrest and the trial, were enthusiastically amplified by the larger right-wing messaging machine.
Yes, such as BuzzFeed News, Max Blumenthal.
Wow.
All the noted incredibly right-wing mouthpieces.
Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore,
Tucker Carlson.
We all
Fred
know
Hampton leftists.
We all know just how incredibly right-wing white supremacists.
Hold on. Okay.
Like
there is a bigger goal here. By eroding trust in law enforcement, The far right can continue to claim the January 6th insurrection was nothing more than an exercise of free speech.
They stayed inside the fucking ropes.
What? Wait, no, wait.
Hold on, I'll read that. I'll read that.
Trust in
read
law
that again.
enforcement.
Hold on, I'll read that entire paragraph again. Nonetheless, the pleadings of defense attorneys got mainstream coverage during the long period between arrest and the trial were enthusiastically amplified by the larger right-wing messaging machine. There is a bigger goal here. By eroding trust in law enforcement, the far right can continue to claim the January 6th insurrection was nothing more than an exercise in free speech.
Because as we all know, there is nothing that the right wing loves more than eroding trust in law enforcement.
Let's see.
You're almost
by
to
the
my favorite part.
by the larger right-wing messaging machine. Okay, that's a lie.
Oh yeah, all of the hyper right wing mass
eroding
media
trust in
outlets.
law enforcement. That's a lie. January 6th was an insurrection. No. Exercise in free speech.
Medieval
Worst
times
insurrection ever.
Oh, like no beheadings. Worst insurrection ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fox
You know,
News personality.
even when they had their giant protest against the lockdowns in Madison, at least there was a guy driving around this Capitol Square with a guillotine in the back of his
Yeah,
face.
yeah, I love that. That was a fully functional guillotine, by the
Yes,
way.
it was.
It was actually sharpened and the blade could drop. Like
Yes.
everything
Alright.
was functional on that guillotine.
Based.
Hold on. Okay. I'm trying
He's
to
from
keep it
three
together.
towns over. I know where he
I'm
lives.
trying to keep it together. Fox News personality Tucker Carlson's three-part documentary, Patriot Purge, went so far as to allege the attack on the U.S. Capitol could have been a false flag operation devised by the so-called deep state to frame, trap, and purge Trump voters in, quote, a new war on terror.
Who said that?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
I mean, he is a FUD for a reason.
I mean,
He's so fud.
well, but that's what I'm saying is like, who said that? Tucker Carlson. Oh, well then. As we all
Makes sense.
know,
That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Most of the evidence in the
he's
trial.
He's the new early stage Alex Jones. I'm just going to
Yes.
point that out.
Yes.
And let's not forget that the guy that did the Wolverine Watchmen case for the FBI went on to Washington, D.C. a couple weeks before January 6th. Putting that out there.
Totally
I would like to point out, with Tucker Carlson being an early stage Alex Jones, I do have a jar labeled Alex Jones was right, and I keep putting money in it.
Yeah. If
Okay,
you just rapid fire full auto sear on your asshole random things, you will be right. Eventually.
Eventually.
All right, okay. I'm really trying to keep. I'm reading ahead of you guys. I'm trying to keep this together. I really am.
Good luck.
Okay. Most of the evidence in the trial was collected by a man the pre-Trump political right might once have lauded as an American hero. Michigan postal worker Dan Chappell, an Iraq war veteran whose service got him a titanium leg, is a Second Amendment enthusiast who joined the Watchmen after Facebook's algorithm pushed him toward the extremist site in spring 2020.
Ah, yes.
So
noted.
The article, by the way, full stops right there about Dan, never mentioning that it was Dan himself who came up with the plot to kidnap the governor.
Yeah,
As an undercover FBI informant.
So wait, so I'm confused.
That's not an important detail.
We are all confused, Andrew.
Is Facebook leading the charge against right-wing extremism?
Because remember,
or are they in fact creating
Facebook's
right-wing extremism? I'm very
algorithm.
confused right now.
Yes.
Facebook's
Andrew,
algorithm
the answer is yes.
pushed him toward the extremist site in spring 2020.
The same algorithm that made us making things like the South American big ahi ahi tuna smokehouse so we wouldn't get banned.
Yeah. the great American Chick-fil-A grill out and pancake social. Like it's like the most ridiculous shit. My favorite
You've gotten my favorite paragraph. You got to give me this because I couldn't read this without dying.
I just want to say David's in the house. David Manning, Poppins Patches.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, no, my favorite though of the terms was when everyone tried to make it the great CNN.
Yeah,
So
the
that
CNN
Facebook
was-
would ban fucking CNN's page.
Dude, when they
Okay.
purged all the CNN pages, they actually got some legit local CNN affiliates banned
All
because they thought
Okay.
they
That's
were
awesome.
Okay.
Let
So
me read
remember,
this
these are radical extremists. These are radical extremists.
Yeah, let me
The
read this.
The military cosplayers who made up the majority of the Wolverine Watchmen welcomed a man with actual medical or actual military training. But after only a few interactions with them, Chappell became alarmed by the group's seeming interest in killing police officers. Throughout the summer of 2020, Chappell said he participated in semi-automatic weapons training and other activities in person and online, collecting incriminating audio and online chatter for the government, and made notes of other observations.
Okay, let me read this part. This is my favorite part.
Okay, go ahead.
He testified that Wolverine wives and girlfriends practiced knife and axe throwing while their men did field training.
Oh, the horror!
Oh
The
goodness!
shield maidens, they are upon us. It's the apocalypse, surely.
Guys, they were participating in an activity that you can go to downtown Kalamazoo and drink
In a
flavoured
bar!
whiskey
In
while
a
doing
bar!
at a bar.
They were, yeah. There's a place here in town. It's called Driftless X. You could have a chili
Oh.
dog, a pitcher of beer, and do what they're doing. Oh God, the horror!
They're all over the country. They're here in Colorado. They're in California.
There's 3 of them down in Wisconsin
Axe throwing is
Dells.
blowing up.
Oh,
And then my second favorite part
I've
of
been
this.
axe throwing on like Instagram, and all these videos pop up of people drinking beer.
the
Eating
homies,
food,
the
and-
homies over biting the bullet. Luke and Typo. They're like axe throwing instructors. Like they've been invited to the national championship in Canada, but they can't cross state line without, or can't cross the country line without the COVID shot. But,
The most horrifying thing is that there's even a video of Jason Momoa engaging in that radical behavior
radical
as
extremism.
he chugs a beer.
All right. The Wolverine Watchmen and their allies, paranoid that federal authorities were onto them, moved their conversations across a series of encrypted platforms, oblivious to the veteran in their midst providing access to the FBI.
Ugh. Shit
Chappell's
like this is why this patch exists. I'm just saying.
Chappell's evidence also suggested a wider community of like-minded enablers. At a top level, the case reveals a degree to which tacit and active support for political violence is on the rise. Even the local sheriff opined to Fox News that the Wolverine boys were all talk, at least in 2020.
And continuing.
And
who joined them after 2020?
Yeah, what changed?
What changed after 2020?
more feds showed up.
Wow.
Okay. But then again, this pattern extends far beyond the Mitten state as conservatives desperate to whitewash the revolting spectacle of bat-wielding, police-beating Capitol insurgents who shared the same anti-government ideology as the Michigan men engaged in Houdini-level logistical contortions.
Speaking of Houdini level,
Go ahead, Magnus. Go ahead. Magnus.
No, I just said no you. Like no you.
You wanted to say
engaging-
something.
I'm just saying no you. Like she is engaging in Houdini level fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's Speaking of that, like, are you fucking kidding? Like, what? What are Minneapolis, Kenosha? Any of these sound familiar?
Oh
What?
my goodness. Yes.
What?
Yes. What? Hold on. Okay. I'm trying to hold this together.
Dude, how do these people say this shit with a straight face?
Oh,
like, honestly.
I'll give you a hint. With a mockingbird in their fucking ear. That's how they say this shit.
Hold on.
God.
Hold that thought.
It gets
Hold that
worse.
thought. Oh, no, it gets better.
No,
It gets
no,
hold
no,
on.
no, Magnus.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Hold on, it gets better. The acrobatic effort has welded together some of the strange bedfellows in American history. Carlson, a backer of the police's thin blue line, if there ever was one, has been ridiculing and downplaying the seriousness of the alleged plot for more than a year. He has given a platform to a variety of activists who have made a cottage industry of comparing the Michigan case to what they now call the entrapment operation of the Capitol insurrection. Such claims are amplified across the right-wing echo chamber. Osama bin Laden's niece, Noor bin Laden, even wrote a letter to the UN on the behalf of the jailed January 6th, quote, political prisoners.
Well, they are just reaching to a level that I
God,
actually didn't.
I cannot possibly get my brain to do that many mental jumping jacks.
But Al Qaeda, guys.
This op-ed is so bad. I had to bring it up. Just
is this person, as they're writing this, are they like actually on some form of hallucinogens?
Oh, they are sniffing.
I'm just saying, for the record, Osama bin Laden's daughter would.
Yes,
I haven't seen her. I'm gonna have to look. I know Joseph Stalin's daughter was pretty hot.
Gonna have to look that one up.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Noor, Noor bin Laden. Definitely, she's a wood.
But I can't, like, my brain's breaking. I don't know how to. What?
Hold on. There's a turn here. Law enforcement overreach and entrapment accusations were not unusual when the alleged terrorists were Muslims and brown people guided by paid informants, although they found a far less sympathetic audience among the far-right media personalities.
Yes, guess what? The people you arrested weren't part of that crowd. The people you arrested and the people like us are not part of the people that were cool with the FBI running around throwing Muslim kids in jail for being autistic and stupid enough to accept a chat invite from a Fed. That's not us. In fact, that was y'all.
Hold on.
Literally you.
Hold on. The degree to which authorities overstepped in those cases is an important discussion. But it would be a mistake to assume all entrapment accusations are created equal.
When it's the same FBI field office, the same FBI officers
working under the exact same playbook, like shot for shot. I mean, I'm dumbfounded here. This is so unhinged and insane. I actually don't know how to respond. Like, I want to tell jokes here, but I don't know what's a bigger joke than this.
Right here, I got the exact.
That's the thing. There isn't anything that could possibly be a bigger joke than this.
So she mentioned Dan, right? Mr. Dan, the lead informant, titanium leg guy. CSH Dan created 2 encrypted group chats with defendants. So ran the entire shadow group chat, whatever thing he is mentioning. Group name was Fuck Around and Find Out. Dan, like FBI undercover agent Mark, admits the group was splintering in August, but worked to keep them together. Asked the FBI how to apply pressure.
They were like, nah, fuck these guys. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And he's like, how do I make sure that they're still a group that we can go after?
Dude, I need my 65 grand or whatever it is. These guys got to stay on playbook.
54. I think it was 54 grand, something like that. Yeah. Let's see. In closing arguments, Western Michigan U.S. Attorney Nez Kessler said, quote, they were filled with rage. They were paranoid because they knew what they were doing was wrong and they feared they could be caught.
Well, it kind of sounds like they were filled with confusion and apathy, actually.
Fucking Doritos.
And Doritos, apparently. Yes.
Maybe
probably
some beer and some pot.
Yeah, beer. Lots of pot.
Okay.
So Funyuns, for sure.
Again, this
pork rinds. They're Michiganders.
Hold on.
Pork rinds.
Yeah, Nina's getting back on course here. But the rise of menace and political violence from the right in America has nonetheless become normalized. formerly true blue supporters of police officers and veterans have, shockingly, turned apologist for a clan of heavily armed men who, at the very least, fantasized about an outrageous act of political terror.
What?
It hurts you just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. This entire article hurts my brain a great deal.
That's why I brought it up.
Like, so it's schizophrenic, right? Like, this is outright like psychosis. Like, this article is so bad. This op-ed is so bad. This is
right.
This is to the point where, like, where reality is, and where she seems to be cruising along, appears to be not the same place.
They're dimensions away, Andrew.
Yeah. It remains to be seen precisely what swayed the jurors and whether the entrapment claims were effective. The name of the jurors have been kept confidential, but we know 4 of them concealed their own guns, and others say they are fine with guns. Welcome
to Michigan, baby.
Most indicated that they were not much interested in news or aware of current events. Meanwhile, the 2 acquitted men will likely be allowed to arm themselves again if they so choose.
One of the
and again, this because we have something in Michigan here. Essentially, it was originally called like the Liberal Triangle, but it's been upgraded to the Whitmer Triangle, which is Lansing, the capital, Ann Arbor, where University of Michigan is, and then like Royal Oak, and where all the rich people live in Birmingham and all that. Those people have no idea what's going on because they say, all these people own guns. Yeah. The head of the Detroit Police Department, when asked what people should do about rising crime in the city, said, "Buy a gun, black man." So, like,
I remember that. There's a lot of memes going around about that.
When I was doing installation, I hate that 2 words together, the same thing. In Detroit, the sweetest, oldest, nice black lady with an Obama sign in her front yard had a shotgun behind the door. Welcome to Michigan.
Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, because fucking Detroit ain't what it used to be, right?
Hunters in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look at the Upper Peninsula. I mean, it's still part of Michigan. Shouldn't be. Should be part of Wisconsin. We'll take it back. But
hold on.
That's all woods and shit, right? Like that's all really rural.
There's that case up there right now where the university student brought an AR to school or to his college because up there it's legal to bring your firearms on campus
because bears wander on NMU often.
And because he posted a picture of it and said this will make the snowflakes melt, he's facing federal terrorism charges.
No, he's not even facing. Successfully charged with terrorism.
Oh, yeah, he was charged, but he hasn't been convicted. That's what I'm getting at.
All right, okay. This is another one of those quotes. In my view, the 4 on trial in Michigan attracted right-wing support, not in spite, but precisely because of the fact of their alleged operations was political. Quote, "We wanted to cause as much a disruption as possible to prevent Joe Biden from getting into office." That's a quote from Ty Garbin, one of the Wolverines who testified against his former brother in arms. He told the court, quote, "It didn't have to be. It was just preferred." Isn't Whitmer a Republican?
No, Whitmer's a Democrat.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah. And she was
probably the one that
extraordinarily unpopular and failing because she was she ran on "Fix the Roads." It was literally in her campaign slogan. And by the time all this happened, not only was the lockdown stuff making her extraordinarily unpopular, but she was vetoing whistleblower, like government whistleblower protection. She was vetoing that. She had attempted to implement a gas tax after running on promising not to implement a gas tax to fix the roads. She was extraordinarily unpopular until all this happened.
Yeah.
What a coincidence. Totally.
Yeah.
When is she up for eviction?
Gubernatorial elections in
Michigan. I think next year, right? 4 years or this year?
This year, November 2020. Yeah, she needs to go.
Well, that's like Andrew and I. Neither of us are really big on the whole voting thing, but in order to get rid of Tony Evers, I'm willing to consider it.
Oh yeah, I voted for the Newsom recall.
Oh, in order to get rid of Tony Evers, I will fucking run against him.
No, like even as an anarchist, it's perfectly fine to just take an hour out of your day to go check a box on whatever. Just don't expect it to change anything. That's all.
Yeah. Lieutenant Governor Andrew. I'll be your lieutenant governor.
I want, like, I straight up want to run against him and just be the Ron Swanson of governors and just try and like highlight just how awful government is the entire time. Do absolutely nothing. And just be like, nah, fuck this shit.
And every bill that comes to your desk, no.
There is a boogaloo boy running for sheriff's office in Manistee County, aka Traverse City, Michigan, under the platform of abolish the sheriff's department.
Nice.
That's
he literally to the debate he wore a fucking Hawaiian shirt over like a suit with a Hawaiian shirt underneath.
Nice. I mean,
is this the same one? Is this the same one that ran on the platform of arming the homeless?
Yes.
Oh, that was a fantastic campaign. He literally gave his shotgun to a homeless guy.
Yeah.
No, okay, now that's someone different.
Yeah, that's someone different. Okay.
Yeah, that's somebody in the Libertarian Party. This is
that's the same. That's the same thing as Aria out in was that New Hampshire?
Keene, New Hampshire.
She won the Republican primary.
Yeah, because with "fuck the police" as her like campaign slogan for sheriff.
And it was just her. The whole reason was because she's like, this is just to prove you guys are fucking idiots.
And then all the Republicans
trans abolish the police Satanist wins Republican.
Yeah, I was gonna say and that
was something to the effect of like the Guardian headline. It was like trans Satanist anarchists running for sheriff or something like that.
Wins the Republican primary. I love her press release too. That was like, "This is your own fault. None of you paid attention. You saw an R next to my name and you voted for me."
Yep.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Yes, right. Exactly. It was fucking.
But you know
glorious.
what? At the same time, modern problems require modern solutions.
I mean, that's why that's why they went after the New Hampshire 6. That's why they went after Crypto 6 was because of shit like that they were pulling.
Yeah.
Daily Mail. Trans Satanist anarchist with her "fuck the police" slogan wins Republican nomination for New Hampshire County Sheriff after running unopposed.
So based,
dude.
It is so fantastic.
I told my boss, who is incredibly like Democrat leaning, like hardcore Democrat. I told my boss, and she was like, "Oh my god, that is the greatest thing I have ever heard."
Which again, this article does like speak to how these people that were literally co-opting the abolish the police and the BLM message all last year are now suddenly pearl clutching over the concept of the sanctity of law enforcement and the trust.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it funny that when suddenly their guy is the one in charge that magically, but you can't, but law enforcement, you can't mean those police because they're serving our guy. Like
if you want to see the most disgusting thing I've ever seen the Democratic Party do in my entire lifetime, including all the fucked up shit Obama did, was to pass a bill with George Floyd's name on it that increased police funding.
Yep. And now they're completely distancing themselves from the defund the police movement, and like Pelosi and the higher ups are like, "Oh, we never supported that."
Yeah,
we never said that was a fringe thing. We never said that at all.
That's why I loved running around Louisville, because after the DNC people would be done speaking during the daytime, they would all go to the same club and party, and the local activists would show up and call them fake and tell them to get the fuck out of the city, and the riot police would actually show up. They wouldn't show up for the DNC sponsored BLM event, but the actual local activists that were like friends with Breonna Taylor and shit, riot cops showed up real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing how that happens.
Isn't that interesting?
So, anything else, like insider baseball on the Michigan thing that you got, Magnus?
Yeah, just like the fact that the political aspirations of these guys have been so skewed that they have to be boogs, because Jesus Christ, they've never been lied at anymore. To where, like, originally Steven Crowder was saying that they were Antifa, and then they were claimed to be, far right Trump supporters. Where even I've seen people with the Libertarian Party try to claim that they were Trump supporters. When literally in this article, we didn't get to it, but it talks about Brandon Castella is on video vowing to shoot and kill police. Guess what's in that video behind him? An anarchist flag in that flag. So,
yeah,
you mean that one? This one right here?
And that's, I mean, dude, that's the thing about, the boog. Like, we're those people that, like, no one knows how to handle. They don't know how to interpret us.
We've become everyone's boogeyman.
Oh, yeah, we are, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
and it's all because none of us fit into their boxes. They think everybody needs to fit into their box, and because we don't, they're like, "But you belong in this box." But wait, you said that now you're in. You can't be in both boxes. Mm-hmm. And they just short circuit, and it's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, that's why the left called us all far right Nazis.
Yep.
And the right called us all rainbow Antifa.
Yep.
And it was just like, you don't fit in this my little box, so you're the enemy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite sets of screenshots I have is from a Facebook conversation, where in a single conversation I am called a far right white supremacist by some actually like Antifa flag sporting profile picture
Soy
person, and then immediately within 4 comments, I am then also called a Antifa loving far left wannabe communist by somebody who has an American flag with a bald eagle as their profile picture. And it's like the greatest screenshot ever, because like my messaging doesn't change in any of my replies, and yet I managed to be apparently both to both of these people, and neither one of them sees the irony.
My favorite was the "It's Going Down" article about the one of us that was involved in the burning of the fifth precinct Minneapolis Police Department.
Oh, God, that video was fantastic.
And the whole thing was just about like, oh, far right, and then they quoted him. And one of the quotes was literally like, "I'm a real big fan of the Black Panthers." Like, you had to write that. You had to read those words and put far right after.
Oh my God.
Oh, Fred Hampton would have wore a Hawaiian shirt, I swear.
On God, bro.
Oh yeah, I fucking like, man, I have wound up with so much shit like where I've talked about like being a fan of Tupac Shakur, not just his music, but like his things that he said, as well as his Mama Feeney, and like being a fan of them and the things that they said, and like they weren't wrong, and like going into that, and then in the conversation of me bringing that up, having leftists be like, yeah. And then when I'm like, which is why everybody needs to be armed and be ready to defend themselves. Like, no. Like,
haven't you seen the whole
pump the brakes, Nazi, pump the brakes.
Yeah, I was like, haven't you seen the whole discourse in anarchist Twitter right now about how prepping and firearms are far right?
Oh yeah, I watched that shit go down and I laughed so fucking hard, and I'm like, oh my God.
This is why I hate people,
dude. The my favorite was the guy with the John Brown gun. John Brown is his profile picture, trying to get into an argument with people about firearms, and literally like my favorite exchange was like, first comment was something like, we have a right to own guns, whatever, and it's how actually like the best check on racist police forces are firearms. And the guy's just like, whatever, you like LARPing bootlicker. And then the next comment is, what was John Brown killed for? And then he's like, violent insurrection.
So our boy Dave, who we're going to talk about in a minute, with Poppins Patches, he said he should have the ability in a few weeks for customers to order Hawaiian print combat shirts.
Let's fucking go.
If you're watching the video, the patches that both Josh and Chris are wearing,
my favorite Poppins patch,
an awful lot of patches that I have.
Yeah.
I also have that one. He does this.
He's got the Boogalorian T-shirt that Andrew and I helped design.
Yep, the Boogalorian T-shirt. That would be Dave, and he's gonna have some Hawaiian print combat shirts. So that's gonna be pretty fucking sweet.
But yeah,
Dave, drop me a message on Fascist Book when you drop those, so that way I can get in on them.
Still on Facebook, Fed.
No. I
back.
snuck back in. I snuck back in.
Too.
Same.
See, I haven't yet. See, you guys stuck. All right, I stuck to my principles and I stayed off of Facebook after.
I still haven't been deleted.
Yeah.
See,
anybody.
But Andrew, the only reason I snuck back in is because I needed to buy used tires for my truck.
The only reason I snuck back in is whenever I visit home, I have to have a way to tell all of my ex-girlfriends to not say hi to me at Walmart.
I just discovered that you have an Instagram.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all my art stuff. Which, by the way, I guess that's something I can't. I'm trying to get the shirt store back up this month. I'm trying to work with it because I don't technically run there's like an umbrella domain that has multiple stores underneath it, and the umbrella domain went down because the person couldn't afford to pay for it anymore. And I've been trying to be like, let me just do it. So like, I'm hoping that I can get my t-shirt store back up because I spent so much time building that website. I do not want to do that all over again. So yeah.
Yeah. So you need to just set up your own company and you need to hire me as a marketer because I'm out of work in like a month. And actually, I'm probably not my company.
I'm willing to do freelance IT work for, I just need some swag my way every once in a while.
I am a whore for my friends' products. Just saying.
And I guess for the last insider baseball thing, real quick, the person that was involved with trying to entrap my particular group of people into doing some shenanigans that we didn't fall for, through some open source intelligence type people that aren't even affiliated with the Boogaloo movement, turned out that he was a CI. And not only was he a CI, the whole reason he became a CI is because he was fleeing federal pedophilia shit. Kid porn and kid fucking.
Wood chipper go
Wood chipper go burr. That's a good song.
And if people don't know, the confidential informant they used to take down Julian Assange was also a serial kid diddler that the FBI picked up to work for them. So they have a habit of doing this.
Yeah. Josh is showing off his
his
Poppins patches wood chipper patch.
Feds love nothing more than pedos and Nazis.
Well, was it the FBI that ran a pedo site for like 6 months and then arrested nobody because they didn't want to give up the program that they used to take over the site?
Yep. Yeah. And the CIA having several dozen of their fucking active duty members getting busted for child pornography and
on CIA work computers.
Yep, and pressuring a woman to send naked pictures of her little daughter, CIA agent.
Yep. Oh, good times.
Follow Ezra Blue if you want to be blackpilled on fucking federal agencies even more than you already are.
Dude, the things that I can't tell you about the agency, you have no idea how.
Damn those NDAs.
Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk. I think the tweet of the year was when he called out the fucking UN General Secretary of whatever. I'm like, hey, what about all those kids in Africa?
Dude, he's so good at like just quick 1-line or 2-line things that are just like,
to be perfectly honest, he's got to do the same shit we do all the time where we drop a 1-liner and then turn off comments.
Oh, yeah.
Or turn off notifications. Like just drop the comment, turn off notifications, walk away.
He does some alpha Chad shit. You know he does.
Yep.
All right. We're coming up on time, so Magnus, why don't you throw out where people can find you and any other information you want to put out there?
Just Ego and its own on Twitter. Everything else has been banned or nothing really else is going on. When my shirt store will come back up, it'll be conspira-t.com was where my t-shirts will be once they go up. Sell a bunch of cool Anarchy shit. Otherwise, I have nothing going on. So yeah, I have no more plugs.
That sounds fantastic. So Andrew,
Andrew.
You want me to do my spiel? All right.
Yeah.
So if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, like I do, you want it shiny, you want it soft, you want it to smell really good, you're going to go to thebeardstruggle.com, use code InkAnarchist15 for 15% off. They got their new scents, including their new platinum scents, gold scents. They got Beard Straightener 2.0 that includes this cool gold-plated stuff. It's got carbon fiber. It's pretty freaking awesome. Make sure that you buy Derica's book. It is Think for Yourself, a thinking workbook for beginners. It's $10. It's on Amazon. You definitely want it. Do not forget to check out our boy Dave at poppinspatches.com. He's on this stream now. He's doing the cool combat shirts. You definitely want to check him out. He does all the cool stuff, including tactical tricorn hat that if you're watching, Josh has up. He's got the redacted shark do a whole bunch of the other patches that we've rocked repeatedly on this show. He's got all of it there. You definitely want to check him out. He's got some really cool stuff, including the Boogalorian t-shirt that me and Chris helped him come up with. So check him out. Also, I am an affiliate of RK Spookware, and if you 3D print your own shooty boys and you want the metal stuff that goes into it that you're going to need, check out the affiliate link in the description. You get to access RK Spookware, and you get to support me, which, you know, I would really appreciate. It doesn't necessarily benefit you majorly, but it definitely benefits me. So
especially since Andrew's going to be unemployed.
Yeah, because my job ends on the 20th of May. So it'd be super cool if you maybe supported me a little bit. I'd really appreciate it, but that's RK Spookware for all of your 3D printing of special things needs.
I just kicked the skateboard underneath my desk, and I think my toe is bleeding.
Oh, cool. Check out Boog Boogie 79.
Fantastic.
I'm sure that felt
Boog Boogie makes these hats that I'm wearing. They're pretty legit.
Yes, he makes the hat.
He makes this flag.
The flags. He makes them cool. Flag I don't have them handy. Yes, he makes the Wisconsin Boog flag. I got one of those. He makes the Boog Unity flag. I got one of those. You want to check him out. He's got a flag for Boog for your state. Yes, those patches. It's that, but as a flag. You definitely want to check out Boog Boogie 79. Hit him up on Twitter. Make sure you check us out on all sorts of alternative social media out there. MeWe, Odyssey, Rumble, the whole works. Find us on all your possible podcatchers. If you're watching us on video, share with your friends. Make sure that you spread the word because we're awesome and everybody wants to listen to us.
And if you do happen to watch us on video, I apologize. I realize we all have faces for radio. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Except Magnus. Magnus is a cutie,
yeah.
So.
But it's because I'm the token gay boy, so I pass.
All right, Magnus, give us a piece of life advice.
Piece of life advice. Anyone trying to convince you to participate in a violent act that they don't want to themselves participate in is an FBI agent.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Yep. Like some of the best advice ever.
Excellent. Yes.
No. Stole that one from Spike Cohen.
Nice. Also, before I forget, classicfirearms.com, who makes this awesome shirt along with a bunch of others, they are currently giving away a scar. So if you would like a scar, because chicks dig scars and so should you, head over there. There should be a link in the description and get yourself a free like $3,400 gun package, man. It's freaking awesome.
I did like 700 something entries, so I'm like,
yeah, and it's totally free to enter, dude. Like you don't have to pay anything. Make sure that you enter it.
On that note, don't talk to feds, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.